One slap, one mistake. A Navy SEAL was watching everything. The diner was loud in the ordinary way. Forks clinked, coffee poured. A bell above the door chimed every time someone walked in. No one expected anything to happen. Then the slap came. It was sharp, loud, final. The waitress staggered back, hand to her cheek, eyes wide with shock. A plate shattered on the floor. The room fell silent, like someone had pulled the plug on sound. The sheriff stood there, breathing hard, his badge shining under the lights. "I told you not to argue with me," he said. No one moved. Fear does that. It freezes people in place. The waitress tried to speak, but her voice wouldn't come. She nodded instead, the way people do when they're trying to make the moment end. The sheriff smirked. One slap, one mistake. Because in the corner booth, someone had seen everything. He didn't wear a uniform, no badge, no rank showing, just a baseball cap pulled low and eyes that never missed a detail. A Navy SEAL. Retired, but the training never leaves. He set his coffee down slowly, stood up. The scrape of his chair was quiet, but it cut through the tension like a blade. "You didn't have to do that," he said. The sheriff turned, irritated. "Mind your business." The SEAL looked past him, straight at the waitress. "Are you hurt?" She swallowed and nodded. The SEAL faced the sheriff again. "You just assaulted her." The sheriff laughed. "You want to do something about it?" The SEAL reached into his pocket and placed a small coin on the counter. Then another. Then an ID. "I've dealt with men who thought power made them untouchable. They were wrong, too." Phones started coming out, quietly, carefully. The sheriff's smile faded. "You think a few trinkets scare me?" "No," the SEAL replied. "I think the truth does." The waitress spoke up, her voice shaking. "He's done this before." A murmur spread, heads nodded. Outside, sirens wailed. The sheriff reached for his radio. "Don't," the SEAL said. Not loud, not angry, certain. State police arrived moments later. They didn't rush, they didn't shout, they just looked at the evidence. The officer turned to the sheriff. "Hands behind your back." The cuffs snapped shut. The sound echoed louder than the slap. The waitress sat down, finally breathing. The SEAL draped his jacket over her shoulders. "You did nothing wrong," he said. One slap, one mistake. A Navy SEAL was watching everything. She nodded, tears finally falling. As the sheriff was led away, his badge looked small, heavy, meaningless. The SEAL returned to his booth, finished his cold coffee, left a tip big enough to make a point, and walked out. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It watches, it waits, and when the line is crossed, it stands up. The silence didn't break right away. It stretched, heavy and uncomfortable as everyone waited to see what would happen next. The man who had slapped the waitress shifted his weight, suddenly aware of the eyes on him. "You think this changes anything?" he said, forcing a laugh. The Navy SEAL didn't move. "It changes everything," he replied. He turned to the waitress. "Do you want medical help?" She nodded, her hands still trembling. "Do you want to file a complaint?" he asked gently. She took a breath. "Yes." The word carried farther than she expected. A few people in the diner straightened up. Someone whispered, "About time." The man's face hardened. "You'll regret this." The SEAL stepped between them, calm, controlled, immovable. "You won't speak to her again." Sirens grew louder outside, no longer distant. State officers entered the diner, scanning the room, assessing the tension. "What's going on here?" one of them asked. The SEAL spoke clearly. "I witnessed an assault. There are multiple witnesses and video recordings." Phones were raised higher now. The officer turned to the man. "Sir, place your hands behind your back." "This is ridiculous," he protested. "Hands behind your back," the officer repeated. The cuffs closed with a sharp click. The waitress finally sat down, tears rolling freely now, not from fear, but release. The SEAL placed his jacket over her shoulders. "You did nothing wrong," he said quietly. "You're not alone." She looked up at him. "Thank you for standing up." Outside, flashing lights filled the windows. The man was led away, his confidence gone, his power reduced to nothing more than a bad decision. The diner slowly returned to life. Conversations restarted. People breathed again. The SEAL returned to his seat, finished his now cold coffee, and left enough money on the table to cover every broken plate. As he reached the door, the waitress called out, "Sir?" He paused. "You showed us that courage doesn't have to be loud." He nodded once and walked out. Because real strength isn't in the slap. It's in the moment someone chooses to stand up and refuses to sit back down.